I don't know why I would join the lacrosse team. Like, I'm not sporty. Welcome back to my channel. I am Manuela and I make college and beauty related content. So today I am introducing a kind of new series to my channel about all the different things that I feel like high schoolers should know about getting into college. This very first video I wanted to make very specific to me. So I am currently a sophomore at Georgetown University in the #1 School of Foreign Service. So I want to create a series that basically targets everything that I feel as if I wish I would have known when I was in high school, things that I didn't do and things I did well. One or two disclaimers that I want to add before we even get into the video. Number one, this is a very informal video. It's very late at night. This is not meant to be very formal. I just wanted to get this quick and out of the way. Number two, stats are not everything. If you came to my video to compare yourself to me or compare your grades and your stats to me, this is not what my purpose was. It was just to put out the information if anyone was wondering what a kind of applicant would look like that got into the Georgetown School of Foreign Service. That also entails that I have to tell you guys some personal things about myself, because a lot of the application process is about you and not so much your stats or your grades. We've seen many cases where people have really went against what people like to say are the rules or the checklist into getting into these types of universities. So there are no rules, there is no checklist. You can do anything that you put your mind to. With that being said, let's get right into the video. For some background, as a small child, I attended an elementary school in the south suburbs of the greater Chicagoland area. It was a predominantly Black elementary school. The school that I attended was a private school. Every single year I achieved a 4.0. In terms of extracurriculars, I played the piano, I participated in talent shows, sports, ran for student council. One key thing that I feel definitely enhanced me from moving into elementary school into high school was that my school was basically a bilingual school. We all started learning Spanish at the age of 2, so by the time I entered high school, I was on a very fast track into acing my Spanish courses. Also very similar to the English department at my elementary school. It was amazing. Yeah, so that was elementary school for me. So let's move into high school. So I went to a private Catholic high school, also in the south suburbs of Chicago. The school is/was a college preparatory high school. So that is the end of my background section. So you kind of know what my life was going into the college process. Since it has been a year since I applied to Georgetown and I did the whole college application process, I will have my phone to kind of help me with anything that I don't remember. So I'll start with GPA. So in my school we had a 4.0 system. However, AP classes were weighted, which made it a 5.0 system. So if you weren't taking AP classes, the most you could probably get is anything in the 4.0 range and above, obviously with 5.0 as the ceiling. And if you were taking AP classes, because they're weighted, you could possibly get a GPA around 5.0 to 5.3 weighted. Your class rank was based on your unweighted GPA. I could not find my old report cards, but this is very easy for me to gauge. So freshman year, I probably around a 4.0 unweighted, a 4.1 weighted. I did get all A's and I did get a 4.0 year. So sophomore year, I think I started to take my first AP classes, 4.2 unweighted GPA, 4.1. My GPA sophomore year didn't differ much, maybe like a point or two. I had an upward trend in my GPA. Okay, so moving into junior year, at this point, I was taking a lot of AP classes. my GPAs weighted were in the 5.0 range, 5.0 to 5.3 all year. My unweighted GPA really skyrocketed upward. And then senior year, likewise, the same thing happened. And my cumulative GPA or my unweighted GPA was skyrocketing. Now, moving into classes. So I don't really remember the exact honors classes or anything like that I took. But one thing that I can tell you is that I took a total of 12 AP classes. So I have a list with me of all of the AP classes that College Board offers, and I'm going to name off of the top of my head the classes that I took my 4 years in high school. So I definitely took AP US History, I took AP Biology, I took both AP Seminar and AP Research, AP Chemistry, AP Lang and Composition, AP Human Geography, AP Calculus, AB, AP Physics 1, AP Spanish Lang and Culture, AP Statistics, AP World History. Looking at this list, I know that I'm missing one, but it's like not coming to me right now. But anyways, so those are the AP classes that I took. I typically received scores of 3 or 4. I never received a 5. The statistics aren't everything because I definitely had key strengths and I definitely had key weaknesses. So to expound on my AP classes, I would say anything history related like US history, world history, I was doing amazing at. Also Spanish Lang and Culture, you guys know I was probably doing amazing at that. AP Seminar, AP Research, both writing classes, speaking classes, Human Geography, I was doing amazing at that. Now, what I wasn't doing so great at or so hot at was science and math related classes. Those are just my weaknesses. There's nothing that I can really do. I try my best, but I didn't hide it. I allowed my report cards and my transcripts and my exams and my test grades to show all of my school that I was weaker in those subjects, and there was a definite spike in my application. I did my best and I let God do the rest, and I moved on to the next year. So now let's move into my stats. So I took the ACT 3 times. I couldn't log into my ACT account, so I couldn't find the actual breakdowns of all the scores, but I do have a general idea of what exactly happened. So my very first time taking the ACT, I received a 28. In June or July, I moved up a score and scored a 30 on the ACT. This time around, I slightly mastered the idea of the science section. So I got my reading, English, writing, and science sections to be very similar. So reading in English, I probably scored a very perfect score, probably around the 32s to 35s. Writing, I typically got around a perfect score. And science, I probably got it up to around a 30, whereas math was still very much lagging behind. I always scored in the 20s every time I took the math section of the ACT. Moving into my very last time taking the ACT, I was very close to entering my senior year, if not already in my senior year of high school, and the last time I took the ACT, I think I got around a 32. I was really shooting for a 32 to a 35. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, is the highest score a 35 or a 36? Wow, I feel so old, I can barely remember. Whatever the highest score was, I was shooting for that as well. But I got a 32. So I managed to get my math score up to a reasonable score. Science was doing pretty good, and so was English, reading, and writing. So extracurriculars, yes, I almost forgot. So my extracurriculars in high school, I did do a lot, you guys. I will say that. So I just do want to add as another disclaimer, because I forgot to add that, my class rank. I was in the top 8% of my class. There was about 283 people in my class, and as you know, if you've done your research when applying to top universities and Ivy Leagues, they really do recommend that you try to be in the top 10% of your class. So I did reach that specific goal. Moving into my extracurriculars, because I did skip over that, I'm going to read off of my phone because I really did take part in a lot of extracurriculars in high school. I was always very active. I was always doing what I loved and what I was passionate about, and I wasn't trying to fill up a blank sheet like a whole list, but I was really doing what geared toward my spike. My spike meaning, what will the school see that I'm passionate about? What is Diamond about? Like, she's not this, she's this, you know, she has a point, she has something that keeps her motivated. So for me, my extracurriculars were freshman year, I was the class president. Sophomore year, I was the class president. I was the executive secretary of the international club, participated in Model UN. I was on the speech team all 4 years. I competed in oratorical declamation and informative speaking events. I did almost make it to state one time, but other than that, nothing special. I was in the political club, a class representative a few years. I participated in piano competitions and ensembles for 12 years. So yes, I did play the piano for about 12, 13, 14 years. One of my major things that I participated in very often was the service club. I was always giving to the homeless, which was something that kind of ingrained in my nature from my family. We always did that even before I even got to high school. I also made myself present at events like Feed My Starving Children. My Starving Children is like a non-profit organization that creates little food bundles for kids in different countries that are really in need of help and really in need of food. Sophomore year, I joined the lacrosse team. Never again. I don't know why I would join the lacrosse team. Like, I'm not sporty. Talent shows, obviously playing the piano and the jazz band. I was a member of the school newspaper, and yeah, that's about it. In my extracurriculars, it may seem like a plethora of them, but to me, like attending high school, it didn't seem like I was doing too much. It seemed like I was doing just enough, because everything that I put my mind to were centered around the same ideals: politics, public speaking, just being an overall outgoing individual, history. Those are just kind of the things that I'm about in a very basic general definition. In terms of awards and honors, I was an Illinois State Scholar 2018, National Honor Society 2018. I was in the Spanish Honor Society 2018. One thing that definitely made me stand out in one of my application essays, I was a United Nations Youth Delegate. That was something that changed the way I viewed the world, and so I definitely mentioned that in my essay, and I definitely think that added to the spike. Like United Nations, School of Foreign Service, like all of this started to really I did also mention on my resume that I'm a native speaker in English. I'm near native speaker proficiency in Spanish, and I did start Chinese my senior year or junior year. I think I started Chinese either my senior year or junior year of high school. Outside of that, I mentioned on my resume that my hobbies were writing and playing the piano. That was a mouthful. I was very truthful on my entire application to Georgetown, as you guys can see. Like, I really laid it all out there for them, what I was really spending my time doing. I did spend extensive amounts of time at school. Sometimes I would even leave school at 8 p.m. having gotten there at 7:30 in the morning. I spent a lot of my time in speech practice. I believe speech took up the majority of my time. We practiced after school for hours. It could even be a maximum of 4 or 5, depending on how much practice you really felt like you needed. And then on the weekends, I would wake up at 4 a.m. on Saturdays to drive to my tournaments in a suit with maybe 1 or 2 8-minute speeches memorized, and then you would spend the whole day at the tournament kind of doing that. So I was really strengthening my public speaking and my writing skills weekly, And I think that that played a really big part in my essay writing, but it also played a really big part in how I got along with my peers and how I really just tackled my classes. Like, I feel like readers are really, really leaders. Like, they weren't lying when they said that. Like, if you're not really into reading, try to get into reading. It will change your life, because when you read, you become an amazing writer, and when you become an amazing writer, sometimes you can really become an amazing speaker. You never know. One thing that I made known in my application is that I really never ever get tired of school, no matter how much it stresses me out. So, and it does, it definitely does. I think that me having a spike definitely was a hook to them. I definitely didn't seem like one of those kids that was just trying to put myself in every single group because I wanted to fill up an application so that I could look nice for the Ivies and for the top schools. No, I didn't do that. I just did what I loved, and that was about it. Now for my application, I kind of based it around community. I am a very outgoing person, but like I said, I am really immersed into the service club, and my family is really immersed into service. So I did kind of base my application around community, and then also my experience at the United Nations. I also hope that I came off as a very curious applicant, because that's what I was trying to portray, like someone that never gets tired of being an intellectual, curious individual. And I don't just sit around and just like take it all in for myself, but I actually share it with others. I actually open myself up, and I actually apply it to everyday situations in order to bring good change to my community and to society. 3 essays I wrote. I can give you guys a general idea. Yeah, so I just kind of wrote an essay about my relationship with my dog. I'm not really going to go into that because later on in this series I may film a video about my essays distinctly. Then I definitely wrote an essay about my experience at the United Nations, interaction with a boy from Iran, and what he said that kind of changed my perspective on the world. An essay about failing to win a junior class president. To me, it was a big deal at the time. Still have downfalls, and that's really what I tried to do with my application to Georgetown. I tried to express my downfalls in science and math and life in general. I wanted to show them that, hey, I have a spike, but I also have weaknesses, and I'm a real enough person to make that open to you, and I'm not one of those types of people that are just going to try and make myself out to be this, you know, colorful individual that I'm not. To try just kind of change up the vibe of this is why I'm perfect. I never really liked that idea, and it's part of the reasons why I never really liked College Confidential. Literally, Georgetown is a school where presidents are made. It's a beautiful campus. It's everything that I could ever want or desire, and I really prayed to God about giving me the school that he felt like I would fit most. One of the best things that I could have ever done for myself was being honest about who I was, about what my passions were, about how I was really spending my time. If you're interested in like the interview, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can make a separate video about that. And just make sure that you guys subscribe also, so that you can get notification about when I add to this series. If you guys are interested in my grades, I would definitely suggest hitting subscribe, because soon I will be going into my grades. I have some pretty interesting grades on my transcript that I really want to highlight. I may or may not have gotten all A's all high school, and I really think that you guys, if you have any worries, you would really be interested in that video, because y'all, I have some things to say. There are some things I'm pretty ashamed about, but I'm so happy that Georgetown really just focused on my spike and who I was overall. One thing that I did forget to add about my application, I did put a picture of myself at the end of my application. I think that Georgetown putting a face to their application, or even offering that you could put a face to their application, says a lot about the institution and a lot about how they care about who you are and not exactly your statistics. Of course they care about your statistics, but I mean, cure a personality, care for the whole person, you know? They know that there's other aspects of you, and those, like, I'm really grateful that I got into an institution that isn't about so much about the transcript, but really a lot about who you are as an individual. Is everything that I have for you guys today in terms of how I got into Georgetown University. I am very happy in my sophomore year. I'm settled in, even though it's online. Things will get better, but I really hope that you guys enjoy. Please share with your other friends if they are interested into getting into Georgetown University, if they're interested in a stats video. Saxa, Hoya Saxa, what rocks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really wish you luck in your applications. Ask me any questions down below. Subscribe for my series. Like if you love this, and also follow me on Instagram if you have any questions as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later this week. Bye.